Welcome to Red Hunt, where the unexpected isn't just common, it's part of the ride. I am a 39-year-old male who is a former soldier. I served 2 tours in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan, along with numerous other deployments around the world to help pay for my education. After my military service, I worked for 2 years on an oil derrick in the North Sea. I have also done aid work in Belize, Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Nepal. When I was 15 years old, I hiked throughout Thailand as part of my school's hiking club. This background is provided for context. My brother, who I will refer to as M, has not had similar experiences. He went straight from high school to university, thanks to a trust fund from our grandfather. He has worked at the same accounting firm for the past 3 years. Recently, M visited my home for dinner after returning from a holiday in Vietnam. He was showing my 9-year-old son all the pictures he had taken and telling him embellished stories about his trip. He spoke of seeing crocodiles while sailing down the Mekong River, eating live snakes at a night market, and other exaggerated tales. For the past 2 years, M has followed this pattern. He goes on tourist tour overseas and then returns to tell my son about his travels, adding exaggerated details to make himself appear adventurous. During our dinner, M recounted a story about his tour bus being stopped by a group of armed tribesmen in the jungle. My son asked, "Wow, Uncle M, weren't you scared?" M replied, "A bit, I suppose. But it was more exciting than anything. I suppose adventure just appeals to some of us." At that moment, I lost my patience. I did not raise my voice, but I told him through gritted teeth that despite my own experiences, I never tried to present myself as brave or adventurous. I emphasized to my son how frightened I felt during my deployments, as I do not want him to join the military thinking it is a grand adventure. I told him that we were happy to hear about his travels, but he was misguided for embellishing his experiences to impress his nephew. I reminded him that in all his trips, he was a tourist, not an adventurer. M responded by saying, "Well, I suppose everybody's definition of adventure is different," and then he changed the subject. Later that night, I received a text from my father. He mentioned that M had told him about our conversation and asked for my side of the story. After I explained my perspective, my father agreed that M needs to stop exaggerating, but he felt my approach was uncalled for. I reminded him that our grandfather's stories about fighting in the Pacific during World War II inspired me to enlist, which ultimately led to my traumatic brain injury, hearing loss, and physical issues. I was trying to protect my son from experiencing something similar. My father simply said, "Well, you were still rude about it," before ending the conversation. So people of Reddit, am I the antagonist in this situation? No kidding, I think you're at fault here, but honestly, it seems like there's just so much going on. I mean, you're feeling a certain way about your grandfather's stories and how they influenced your decision to join the military. It's tough, right? You had a rough time while your brother seems to have had it easier. And I get that you're frustrated with his exaggerated travel stories, especially since your son looks up to him. But remember, your brother is just sharing his experiences to have fun, not to downplay yours. Kids totally understand that people exaggerate stories, it's just part of storytelling. Lashing out at your brother only makes things worse, and it might make your son feel weird about it too. You might want to chat with your brother about his stories, but do it calmly. It's okay to feel the way you do, but sorting through these feelings can really help. And yeah, your brother could definitely tone down the embellishments, but this isn't the best way to bring it up. Am I the jerk for offering my ex and their partner a trip using my vacation points? I am a 40-year-old man, and my soon-to-be wife is 39 years old. We have a vacation package that provides us with a certain number of points each year to use for traveling to resorts. My soon-to-be wife suggested that we send my ex-wife, who is 44 years old, and her new boyfriend, who is 45 years old, away for a weekend using our extra points. To provide some background, we all get along well. My ex-wife and I have been divorced for a while, and our relationship has improved significantly since the divorce. People often commend us on our co-parenting and express their wishes to have similar relationships with their exes. Her boyfriend is a former friend of mine and one of the best people I know. He is always polite and a true gentleman. He treats my children well and is an overall good person. With that in mind, I have a lot of extra vacation points that will expire soon. Since my ex-wife's birthday and Mother's Day are close together, we thought it would be a great idea to send her and her boyfriend to a resort for a long weekend. She is a school teacher, and since the school year is almost over, her schedule will be more flexible. I reached out to her boyfriend to discuss our plan and to see how we could fit it into his schedule. I wanted to ensure that if he needed to take vacation days, we could accommodate that before booking the trip for her. However, his response was unexpected. He declined the offer entirely, stating that he was not comfortable taking a vacation on his girlfriend's ex-husband's dime. In my view, the trip was primarily a gift for her birthday and Mother's Day, rather than about his feelings on the matter. Additionally, it would not cost me anything since the points are already paid for and would expire otherwise. In fact, I would be losing out financially if they did not take the trip. Not wanting to create any issues, I simply replied that I understood and would think of another way to celebrate those occasions for her. So, am I the antagonist in this situation, and did I cross an unwritten rule? You know, it sounds like you really handled that mess well by talking to the boyfriend first. But honestly, it might have been better to chat with him about the gift idea so he could be part of the conversation. I mean, his negative response seems to come from feeling left out, which totally makes sense. You made a really generous offer, no hidden motives, just trying to put your unused points to good use for your ex. If he had just politely declined, it would have been a clear no, and there wouldn't have been any hard feelings. But instead, he let his ego get in the way and reacted rudely. It's such a shame he didn't even think to discuss it with her before saying no. I mean, rudeness in the face of kindness. That just isn't cool. Overall, it feels like a classic case of fragile masculinity messing things up. Am I the jerk for calling out someone at the dog park? I consistently visit the same dog park where my dog has a group of friends, and I get along well with the other owners. We each bring different balls from home to throw for our dogs without any issues. One day, a new dog arrived during our usual time, and this dog began to growl and nip at the other dogs until they dropped their balls. Then the dog would run around with the ball for about 20 minutes. While this wasn't a huge issue, I would eventually like to get back to throwing the ball. The owner of this new dog never played with her dog or brought a ball. After 30 minutes of politely asking the dog to drop my ball, I turned to the owner and said, "Can you see if you can get it from him?" She rolled her eyes and called her dog's name, but the dog continued to run away from her with no recall. Eventually, she managed to get the ball back and handed it to me, saying, "Be careful, he's just going to keep taking it." I responded, "Oh, you should figure out how to control your dog then." She scoffed and sat down, focusing on her phone while her dog continued to bother the other dogs. The other owners became annoyed as well and stopped throwing the ball when she was present. Everyone else, including myself, attempted to retrieve the ball quickly and politely, as that seemed to be the etiquette. We did not see her for a while after that until today when I arrived later than usual. I was throwing the ball, and as my dog returned to me, she showed up. My dog dropped the ball at my feet, and when I tried to grab it, her dog growled at me and snatched it away. The owner simply walked away. For 20 minutes, I tried to get my ball back. This ball is mine, clearly not a cheap one, and it is the only ball my dog will chase. I asked her, "Can you please try to get my ball back?" She rolled her eyes and stared at her dog without saying anything for over 30 minutes. When I said, "So you still can't control your dog," she looked angry and finally started trying to retrieve the ball. She called her dog's name for 15 minutes but was unable to get it back. I had to give her one of the treats I brought for my dog so she could bribe her dog into returning it. I had a friend with me, and we decided to leave after I finally got the ball back. My friend asked why, and I replied loudly while looking at her, "Oh, she can't seem to figure out how to train her dog and she thinks it's my fault, so we should just go." She became noticeably upset, and I could hear her loudly complaining to a random person nearby. Interestingly, this person's dog and my dog had shared the ball without any issues earlier. This situation is frustrating for me, and I plan to continue addressing it. However, I am uncertain if I am in the wrong for speaking up. I understand that dogs can behave this way, and I know these situations happen. However, blaming me for her dog taking my ball and her inability to retrieve it seems unreasonable. It is one thing for a dog to have the ball for a while and then drop it or play with my dog, but being possessive and refusing to give it back seems like a behavioral issue, especially when the owner cannot control her dog. This dog is a large husky that growls and nips at other dogs and now at humans as well. Am I in the wrong for calling her out? Hey, you're definitely not the jerk here. I mean, letting a dog act aggressively at a dog park. That's just not okay. If she can't manage her dog, honestly, it should stay on a leash. Resource guarding can really cause serious issues for other dogs and their owners. It might be a good idea for her to get an extra ball, so her dog can't steal everything. With 2 balls, there's always something to throw. You've handled the whole situation really well, by the way. It's super annoying when someone isn't taking responsibility for their pet. Everyone deserves to enjoy the park without any worries. Training should really be a priority before letting a dog roam free. Would I be the jerk for not changing my baby shower plans to accommodate my in-law? I am dealing with some drama regarding my baby shower. My stepmother-in-law has graciously offered to throw us a baby shower this August at her home, and I accepted. My husband originally thought this was a great idea because they live on a beautiful property. She is the only person in our lives who has offered to throw us a baby shower. I do not want to ask any of our friends to throw us a shower, as I do not want to impose on anyone. This makes me very uncomfortable. My mother is not interested in hosting, as she is socially awkward, easily overwhelmed, and incredibly busy helping to raise my niece. I have not even asked her to host. The drama arises from the fact that my father-in-law and stepmother-in-law live on the same property that my mother-in-law lived on before she and my father-in-law divorced. They live in different houses on the same property. Their marriage deteriorated while my husband and I were in college, and it ended when she had an affair. She has since moved out of state because the cost of living in our area was too high for her to afford. We have forgiven her and love her very much. We are excited for her to become a grandmother for the first time. Last Christmas, we called her to wish her a Merry Christmas while on our way to my father-in-law's house to celebrate. She began to cry and expressed that she should be celebrating the holidays with us. She said it was her fault she destroyed her marriage and felt terrible that we were going to what used to be her house to celebrate with my father-in-law's new family. We thought she was doing better and getting excited about becoming a grandmother. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law is struggling with her mental health again and recently started drinking. She is an alcoholic and only drinks when she is having a difficult time. We found out she had started drinking again when we were unable to reach her on her birthday this week. She finally called my husband a day later and told him she received a driving under the influence charge. We do not know why she started drinking again, but my husband plans to visit her in a few weeks to help her and figure out what is going on. I told my husband I was worried she would have a hard time at my baby shower since it is supposed to be held on my father-in-law's property. He thinks it would be very bad for her mental health. He suggested we ask my stepmother-in-law if she can throw the shower at our house or ask a friend to host it. I am very much against both ideas. I do not want to impose on any of my friends to the point that I would choose to forego having a shower. Additionally, I do not want the stress of having to clean my house and prepare the backyard for so many guests. I get overwhelmed whenever we host and feel like I must have a perfectly clean home whenever people come over. I know this is not necessary, but my anxiety gets the best of me and I become anxious. I feel that if I were to host it at my house, it would almost be like throwing myself a shower, which I also do not want. You've got to be kidding. You're not the jerk here. I mean, it sounds like your stepmother-in-law is just trying to help out by offering to host the baby shower, and honestly, that's a great idea. Your mother-in-law isn't in a good place right now, so it makes sense to keep the event stress-free. Your husband should definitely talk to her in a way that doesn't make her feel too rejected. At the end of the day, it's really about having the shower you want, not about accommodating her. If she's unstable, it's totally okay not to invite her or to have a plan ready in case she shows up drunk. You could even think about not serving alcohol to keep things calm. Just focus on what's going to make this special for you. And hey, congrats on the baby. Am I the jerk? I lost my best friend over this situation. I lost my best friend of 8 years over a situation that I am still trying to understand. A few months ago on New Year's, I, a 23-year-old female, went out to some bars with my former best friend, who is also a 23-year-old female, her boyfriend, her friend, and a few of her friends' acquaintances. After a night of celebration and taking a few shots with one of her friend's acquaintances, we all went back to her friend's apartment to relax. My best friend and her boyfriend eventually left, leaving me with her friend and the acquaintance. While we were sitting on the couch and talking, we began to make out. Things escalated quickly and we ended up having a brief sexual encounter before I decided to stop, feeling uncomfortable about the situation. I then left to gather my thoughts. About a week later, I received a message from my best friend expressing her embarrassment and upset feelings regarding my actions on her friend's couch. She mentioned that her friend felt uncomfortable about the situation. I immediately felt terrible and reached out to apologize to both her and her friend. The acquaintance responded, saying that his friend was not truly upset, but rather found the situation amusing. Another week passed and my best friend texted me again, stating that she felt uncomfortable with me kissing her mutual friends. I acknowledged that there had been 3 other instances where I had kissed one of her friend's acquaintances, each time initiated by them. I understand that this is not an excuse, but I wanted to clarify the context. We exchanged lengthy texts for several hours, but the conversation seemed to lead nowhere. I apologized, but she continued to make comments that felt rude and disrespectful. I had never seen this side of her before, and we had never fought until this incident occurred. After numerous attempts to resolve the issue without success, I suggested that we take a break. I was heartbroken. We have not spoken since, and I miss her deeply. Am I in the wrong? To be honest, you're not the jerk here. I mean, it's pretty wild that your friend just left you alone while everyone else was hooking up. If they didn't want you two to get cozy, they should have said something or made you leave. It kind of seems like your friend might be a bit jealous, maybe because she likes the guy you were with. Honestly, what's the big deal? Everyone was having fun, so I really don't see why she's feeling some type of way. She can't control who you vibe with, and mutual friends are often how relationships start. It's great that you were respectful to the host too. I'd say try reaching out to her again. Clear the air and see what she really thinks. Am I the jerk? I told my parent I probably won't bring my children to my siblings' wedding, despite their wish for them to be there. I am 35 years old and have been in a relationship with my girlfriend for around 12 years. We have 2 daughters and do not plan on getting married. We are not religious, nor are our parents, and we do not see the point in marriage. My younger brother, who is 25 years old, is getting married this summer, and we received an invitation to the wedding. Recently, my mother called me about something unrelated to the wedding. Towards the end of the phone call, she mentioned that I had not filled out a form accessible via a QR link on the wedding invitation. I had assumed our attendance was expected since we are family, so I did not complete the form, but I told her I would check it out and fill it in. She then expressed her wish for our entire family, including our daughters, to attend the wedding. I explained that I needed to check my older daughter's schedule since she is signed up for summer camp, which we reserved about 3 months prior. She attends camp every year with her friends, and if the wedding is during that time, I do not think it would make sense to bring her. My mother responded by saying that she does not ask for much, so we should do this for her. I clarified that this decision is not just about her or me, but about how my daughter wants to spend her summer. I assured her that I would check the schedule, ask my daughter, and inform everyone of our decision. My mother seemed to understand, and I thought the conversation was coming to an end. However, she suddenly said something like, "Well, I do not know how many brothers you have, but..." I responded that my brother is my only sibling, and since it is his wedding, I do intend to attend, but I am uncertain about my children. This was the 3rd or 4th time I had explained this to her, and I began to feel slightly frustrated and agitated, raising my voice slightly. I was firm in my tone, not shouting as we were going in circles. When I repeated the same explanation for the 4th time, she asked why I was being rude to her. She said she hoped she was not being rude to me and that she did not deserve such treatment. I explained that I was frustrated with having to repeat myself and that while I might sound grumpy, I was not angry. At that point, she cried and hung up. I do not believe I am in the wrong, but I want to consider the possibility that I might be. I am seeking opinions on this matter. Additionally, my mother may have some narcissistic traits and is quite controlling. She has the opportunity to see my daughters whenever she wants, but she rarely does, despite living only 5 minutes away from us. You know the vibes. You're not a jerk for not bringing the kids, but honestly, it would have been nice to help the couple with that form they asked for. I mean, there's no need to add stress to their wedding planning, right? It seems like Grandma wants to look involved, but if she really cared, she'd visit more often. Family weddings matter, but if you're not close, that's totally okay. Just keep in mind that not having legal ties could affect your partner's benefits down the line. It's a big deal to think about the kids too. So ask them what they want and let their choices guide you. In the end, it's about what feels right for your family. Just try to keep things simple and stress-free. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.